Hello and welcome back to spiderworking.com's video blog. This week I'm in Carlo talking to John O'Connor from Red Oak Tax Refunds about his iPhone app, Red Oak Snap. Hi John. Tell me a little bit about Red Oak Tax Refunds.
Red Oak Tax Refunds were a tax refund agency. We started life in April 2009, getting people money back on their bins, medical expenses, any missing tax credits they might have. So while we've now over 10,000 clients on the tax refund side, we've also started doing a lot of people, there's a lot of accidental landlords, we call them out there. So whereas 5 years ago it used to be a big badge of honour, I'm a landlord. Nowadays people are a little bit more reluctant to mention it, and in many cases they've losses on it, so we're doing an awful lot more PAYE people with a little bit of extra income.
And are you a business to consumer business, you're not a business to business business?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. We don't deal with self-employed as it stands. We really deal with PAYE people and we go direct. We largely sell through the internet and through referrals.
So why an iPhone app?
It's a good question because it's quite early in the days for iPhone apps and general mobile technology apps, but there's just such a massive advantage that I think it's an area that's going to explode in the next few years. Really what we're talking about is a concept, what people are calling utility, and it's just the ease of use that an iPhone gives you. So say all of those tasks that used to have to wait until you were in front of a computer again at the end of the day, in front of your filing systems, you can do now with your phone there and then. So, a classic example of mum and dad are going out for a meal and the daughter rings and says, I'm stuck in town, can I have €20? They can transfer money via the phone and it's done. It's just, how that's the utility concept. So we looked at it from our side of the business, and one of the big items that people can claim for us is medical expenses. Now, we are constantly having conversations with people where they've lost their receipts, and it's not everybody out there thinks it's somebody else loses receipts, or sorry, it's just them that lose receipts, but it's actually everybody. We did a survey of over 1,000 people, and over 54% had lost receipts in the last year, which meant they overpaid in tax. And then you've this whole thing of at the end of the year you have to put together your accounts effectively for your medical expenses, or if you're a landlord, for all the little bits and pieces you have to buy. And that takes a hell of a lot of time. But what you can do with the phone is you can just take a photograph of the receipt, put in about 3 pieces of information, and that's it. It's done, finished with it. You don't have to look at it again. And then even at the end of the year, it tots it all up for you. So yeah, that's like from a point of view why create an app, it's just that it's so useful.
Did you have any specific goals or targets, or what did you want to get from setting up an iPhone app?
It is in terms of lead generation, really what we're looking at, and customer retention and getting more refunds for our customers. I mentioned before, a lot of our customers would miss out on refunds because they didn't have their expenses. So we've made an easy tool for those customers, and anybody else is completely free. So anybody who wants to use it can store all their medical expense information. It makes it so much easier then to claim their expenses at the end of the year. So we're hoping to get larger refunds for our customers and acquire new customers.
How do you market a mobile app?
I think they've been very clever about this, Apple, because they've to a good degree removed SEO and the traditional way of marketing online. What they really want you to do is go out there and do the hard yards of promoting your product, because if you're out there doing the hard yards promoting your product, which sits on an Apple platform, then you're promoting Apple. So I think they've really got that right from their point of view. But it does mean that there isn't great search engines for apps, and there isn't tremendous ways of accessing it. So you have to go back to the old traditional, media, social media, networking. Like the routes we took to promoting it is social media, so Facebook and Twitter. Now, in terms of, and I suppose the more important first step really was our existing customers. So we emailed our existing customers. Now, there'd be a big overlap between our existing customers and our Facebook profile. Twitter was a very different profile of person. It's not so much our customers we're talking to on Twitter, we're talking to influencers, and like it's chock full of journalists and people with interest in these. So we found it quite a useful place to push out our message about what we were doing, and it got picked up in a few places. We press release, but we didn't leave it at that. We rang up and talked to journalists, and we asked them, what could make a story out of this, like what could make this interesting. So we tried to get an idea of how to make it something relevant for them. We advertised on through AdWords, through Facebook. To be honest, like with marginal impact, it wasn't a great value. And we also advertised through TV, so we had a TV ad. I suppose the benefit there we had was we were able to advertise not just the app, but because it's free, so we're getting nothing. If we get 10,000, immediately we're getting nothing. But we're also able to advertise our general service, so we'd 2 targets of our TV advertising. And networking groups, so going to the chamber, going to the IIA. So we said, push it out there, can you let your members know about this? And that also helps a lot. I think one of the things we learned about is you have to phase the launch, because certain media, say, prefers to know about it 2 weeks afterwards. Some particular papers want, and they want you to have it out there 2 weeks. So really, in most cases, it took about 2 weeks before they picked up on the story. So we found the initial press release was important, but following up afterwards and talking to journalists and saying, we've got some other stories around this as well. Can that help make this interesting to you?
And what do you think you've learned from the process so far?
Yeah, you've got 2 costs to an app. You have the initial development cost, and then the promotion. And really, we launched it, and we traditionally, as most people do, you launch it on Apple first, and then you consider Android. Now, there's 2 things we learned about that. You're spending the same marketing costs in a lot of ways, but only accessing half the market, or what is less than half the mobile market. Less than half people have iPhones. There's probably more Android phones out there now. The second point, people with Android phones are up to the gills with people trying to sell them or tell them about iPhone apps. And they're very proud of having their Android phone, and they don't want to hear about somebody else's iPhone app. So we got a lot of pushback from our customers who are saying, why haven't you brought this out in Android? So we'll have to resolve that.
And what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, there are a number of different add-ons we can do to it. So we can annualize it a little bit, and there's obviously Android is such an important platform now. But so that's the plans in the next few months.
Thanks very much, John.